Hello, everyone. I want to say thank you for coming. I am very grateful to see so many of you on the Psychic Hour with Sandy Anastasi this evening. Welcome aboard. We're going to have a wild ride this evening. I have all kinds of interesting things planned to talk to you about, and of course, I am here to answer your questions on anything in the psychic field. We're going to turn some wonderful readings for as many of you as we can get into this next hour into some very educational talks at the same time. So welcome. I invite you to come to all of these psychic hours. They are held monthly, and it's my delight, my gift to you to do this each month with you. So here we are. Here are some basic rules for how I conduct my psychic hour with you. First of all, if you're seeing this live tonight, you are actually seeing me live on the webcam. If you're coming in on the recording after the fact, you're not going to be able to see me. You will hear me, but you will see the wonderful backdrop, which shows the astrological chart for this evening's webinar. And of course, my picture's in the middle, so it gives you something to look at while I talk if you're coming in afterwards and just listening to the recording. For those of you who are live, you are going to get to ask me questions all the way through this evening, and here's how that goes. First off, my wonderful assistant, Lisa Freeman, is in the chat room. So if you're shy and you don't want to speak on the mic, you can go into the chat room and type a question, and periodically I will be asking Lisa if she sees or hears any question in the chat room that she wants to read out for me to answer. Also, I am going to be calling on you when you raise your hands. Now, bear in mind that I may sometimes use your name, so if I'm calling on you, you're going to get to speak, and this will be posted to Facebook after the fact, so people are going to be able to hear you. So if you want to be heard and not seen, but heard, and have your question verbally put out there, I am more than happy to do so. And to do that, and I see Angela already has her hand up, all you need to do is to click on the little hand section. That's the, let's see, the 1, 2, 3, the fourth box, the one that's right next to your name. If you have a question, click that box and a little hand will show and we'll know you have a question. And I see Angela just took her hand down. She's like, nope, I don't want to talk. But Angela, if you do want to put your voice to that, yeah, I see that, put your hand back up and we will be very happy to speak with you this evening. Okay, I have some announcements to make, and I'll be making some announcements off and on all through tonight's class. Just because there's so much going on, I like to kind of keep you up to date on what's happening. Hey folks, for those of you who live in the Tampa area or who might be traveling to Florida for your vacation in the next week, our meetup group, which is Tampa based, is having its first annual reunion meeting celebration this Saturday evening, and the date of that is, oh geez, I forgot. Let's see if I can quick grab that. The date is going to be the 26th. I just love computers. I just pulled that right up on my computer while I'm speaking with you. So that's going to be this Saturday night, the 26th. And that'll be right after my Psychic Development 1's first day ends. So we'll go right straight from our class out to this lovely restaurant and bar to meet up with everyone who wants to come and join us, which may be a lot of teachers from the Anastasi system, bunches of people from our meetup group, the students certainly who are going to be taking my Psychic Development Level 1 this coming weekend, which incidentally is still open. It still has openings. So if you are wanting to travel to Tampa and study with me in person, we have that class on July 28th and 29th, and it is going to be so exciting. And the meetup, even if you're not a student, you're welcome to attend that meetup. Even if you're not a member of the meetup group yet, we'd love to meet with you. And that's going to be held on Saturday night. And it is 5:30, so it's an early evening thing. So you can come and have a cocktail and sit and chat, and then either eat dinner there or go out and have dinner someplace else. Tampa's a lovely, lovely city. So we are celebrating. Our meetup group is celebrating its first year this coming Saturday. So yay, meetup people. Okay, and also I'm very excited about our summer psychic development series because it is starting. For those of you who aren't aware, I created the Anastasi system of psychic development years ago. It's very, very well known throughout the world. Many famous psychics have studied that system or studied with people who have studied my system. And it goes in 6-month increments, and it is 1 weekend a month if you're studying it in person with me. And that's why it's so particularly nice that next weekend is the first class. So if you are able to, you can get right in on board with the very first one. If you miss the first one, well, then talk to Lisa, and you'll be able to still pop in at a later date. But it's so nice to be there right from the beginning. Okay. Onward, I want to talk to you about some of your questions, and I'll get back to more of my announcements and comments and insights on the way through. So let's see, who are we going to choose? Lisa. I love to let Lisa pick our people that are going to get to ask the questions because she has a phenomenal memory, and she's pretty good at remembering who got their questions in last time and who's new, and so I try to be able to spread it around so that everybody gets a chance. So Lisa, who's got their hand up or who's asking a question in the chat room right now that you'd like to bring on?
I'm going to start at the very top of the list with Angela. You are unmuted.
Hello, Sandy. Hi, Lisa.
Hi,
my question is, nice to meet you.
And hold it, Angela. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I forgot to mention some of our rules that I like to do. I'd like you to start with your sun sign, where you live, and something that you are grateful for this evening, and then jump right into your question, okay?
Okay. I am a Virgo, and I am from Ohio, friends with Kelly Keller.
Yay!
Also, I am grateful for everything. I appreciate every aspect of life and try to find good in everything, you know? It's just, if we have one thing that we can be grateful for, then we could find a million more, and too many people use that time to complain.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you for that insight. That was awesome. And just a little insight back for you, since you've been so generous. If you look at my cursor up here, moving around the screen, I'm going to point to where it says Virgo. There it is. Tonight, during this class, because this chart I put up here in astrology acts as a horary chart. So everyone who calls in this tonight on this show is in this chart. And I have your answers right here, not just with the cards. Okay, so you fall into the 8th house. So your question is likely going to have some things to have to do with finance, material assets, maybe things that you're wanting to embark upon relative to business for you or your spouse. And also there could be some romantic things going on around you that you may not want to talk about.
No, I'm open. I'm open.
So what is your question?
Well, we have been discussing marriage, but my main question tonight is how to be more receptive and open, and how to get more harmony for my family. And also, yes, finances do come into play, but I don't worry about those because they have a way of working out as long as you're appreciative of what you have.
Oh, I love that so much. And, you know, you'll always find me quoting Abraham Hicks. I've never met Esther Hicks in person, but I admire her work so much. She is the gal who channels Abraham. And one of the things that Abraham says through her is that if you continually give, you will continually have. And you just said the same thing. You're just paraphrasing it. And I so agree. And I think that that ability to, we've also heard the term paying it forward. And then it comes back to us from all the people that we meet. And I so agree with that. So thank you again for that perspective. Now, how to be more open. And, you know, Angela, it's a little bit different for every individual. And I want to tell you how very psychic you are, because you psyched in on a discussion that I have been having with my Kabbalah group for the last week. We did a path where part of the path was in the middle of the path you get a power word. And my power was afraid. And I was so shocked. It was like, how can a power, hey guys, I'm talking to my guides here. What do you mean giving me a power word like afraid? That's, you know, it left me at a loss. And so we've been, with my group, we've been talking back and forth about how does this word apply and create greater power. And so you realize that you're just asking the same question. How do you become more receptive? And, you know, the word afraid, we think of fear as this bad and horrible thing, but to be afraid is to become aware of all those tensions and all those things that are around you, but also to make yourself receptive to everything around you so that you are aware on every level of, you know, what the level is. Is it something really to fear? Is it something to open to because it really was nothing? But if you don't have that receptivity, which is what you're asking, how do I become more receptive? So one of the big things is going to be to drop your fears, okay? And of course, you need to identify them to be able to drop them. And you need very frequently to really take a look at them in order to know what they are, because most of them simply aren't valid. And then they can be dropped, and you can allow yourself to become, I'm going to use another term, more vulnerable. Because in vulnerability, allowing yourself that vulnerability, which means moving through your fears, allows you to become more receptive. Does all that make sense?
It does, and I've actually listed some of my fears on paper, and to empower myself, I've scribbled them out.
Yeah.
And I saw myself conquering them, and then I would scribble them out, like, okay, you don't have power over me anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, you use the word conquer, which is a very male energy, and yet the word afraid and the concept of fear and vulnerability and receptivity, these are all feminine receptive qualities. And so I'd rather, instead of you saying conquer your fear, I would rather see you understanding and releasing your fear. Do you see that? You feel the difference?
I do. I
yeah.
have some of my father in me, and I carry his torch now, I guess. And
yeah.
And that's part of the thing is he always taught me you're not a victim of anything, you're a victor. So you've conquered anything that tried to get in your way.
And you see this, but this leads you back to your question, because in conquering there is no receptivity.
Right.
In being the leader who is going to push everything out of their way, there's no receptivity. So you see, none of those are bad qualities, but they are masculine qualities. And your question was about a feminine quality, which really, I think, has a lot to do with your relationship. How do I allow myself to become more receptive, not just to what I'm hearing from people, but to other people's needs, also to be receptive to what they are saying, not just with their voice, but with their whole psyche, with their whole energy field. What is going on with other people, and how can I even be receptive to my own needs? You know, so many of us don't know what our own needs are. We're so busy moving through the world in that male military kind of way that has us carrying the banner and, you know, and slicing down all the opposition in front of us. And we really live in a world that moves that way. And so, you know, your question is pertinent to so many people on this talk this evening, because I know that that pendulum has moved so far into that masculine, aggressive place in our world that many, many people, and not all of the women, many men, are trying to find that receptive side of themselves so that they can regain that balance that they've lost in their life. You know, they don't want to come home from fighting their way through the world and now fight their way through their marriage. Do you see? So we need to find that balance. So I applaud you, and I shared my word with you. Okay. You're welcome, and let me know how that works. I love synchronicity, and I think since that has been such a big thing in my life over this last week, that it's probably one of the reasons why you called in with that question, because the receptivity question it's really on both of our plates right now. Okay, so I share my word freely with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so very much.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for calling in and for having such great wisdom yourself and sharing it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care too. And Lisa, who is next, either in the chat room or who's here with their hand up right on the board with us?
Now I'm going to go down here to Susan. Susan, you're unmuted. Let's see if that works.
Hi, Sandy. Can you hear me?
I can. Hello, Susan.
Hi. Well, I'm a Capricorn, and I'm from Indiana, and we've spoken before. I thank you very much. I'm very grateful for this forum. I'm grateful tonight for you because you have been so helpful, and I really want to share, before I ask a quick question, I want to share something with you because I have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Last webinar, you shared with me that you saw a passing about to happen around me, and I had already had intuition about it, and I was really shocked when you shared that with me because it was my little secret. I was holding a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear about it because I thought it might be my husband or my children or my grandchildren, but it actually helped me a lot because it did, in fact, 2 weeks later occur, and it gave me affirmation so that I could make peace with it beforehand, and it helped me to help my family member through it because I wasn't dealing so much with my acceptance of it and my shock over it because I had time to deal with that. It helped me to be more focused and present for her.
Wow.
So I just wanted to say thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. I don't want to get too emotional, but
yeah, and you have every right to get emotional. Susan, thank you so much for the feedback. You and your sister both have my deepest condolences. I'm sure you have questions about your sister at this point in time, and please pass this information on to her. I see her having big questions about her finances and about how she's going to make it through this next time. So she's lost the love of her life, but she's also very concerned about her future financially and in a material sense. And my guides are telling me that she is going to need to be cautious in her dispersal of funds over the next maybe 6 months to a year. But once she's got that under her belt, she is going to do fine, and she's going to be financially she will have sustainable finances. That's the word they give me, sustainable. And that she'll be okay. She's going to do fine. Please pass that along to her.
I certainly will, and you are right on by that. I just want to tell you, I gave her a reading.
Oh, wow.
And that is exactly what I told her. So I am so thankful, again, that you have affirmed that, because I am I'm a novice in this, but I feel I have some strong gifts, and I only share that with people who ask me and request that, so that gives me a lot of peace, too.
And, Susan, I'm glad you brought up that you are also a reader, although you said that you're a beginner level reader. Maybe not such a beginner. You may be better than you think, my friend. But in your email that you had written, Lisa, you had asked, did I have a tarot book or presentation? I wrote a book called the Tarot Reader's Workbook. It's available on my site and also Amazon. And also this, I don't know if you can really quite see it. There we go. It's the basic tarot card reading, and it is available on MP3 and also as a CD on my website. I have a very, very old DVD that was done on the tarot, and I'm trying to resurrect that one as well. So that may appear at some point, and there's a good likelihood that, and this will, I hope, interest everyone, there's a good likelihood that in the next year I'm going to be doing a webinar series on the basic tarot right here online. I think I've got a lot of interest, but it's just so difficult for people to travel to Tampa where I'm based, so I will eventually be doing that class. It's a class that will lend itself to online teaching, so I'll be able to do that with you.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you said it, because I am very interested in taking that class, your class, because I've been wanting to do this, but I just, I'm kind of picky about my teachers, and been just waiting to find an into one of your classes, and I would just love to be part of that. So thank you so very much.
Also, oh, I hate that word. I did it again. I'm trying to not say Please, folks, when you hear me say that, go boo, because I'm trying to break that habit. I'm a New Yorker that's been transplanted to Florida now for almost 30 years. You would think that by now I would have kicked the, but I think that is like the last holdout. It's really difficult. I'm working on it.
That's okay. We're going to forgive you because you're just wonderful in every other department.
Well, thank you. I'll remember that next time I'm trying to kick myself over the bad language. But what I was about to mention is for those people like yourself who can't travel or have other obligations and can't travel, I've begun doing a series of online webinars that are regular classes. And my next one, this is on my website now. You can check it out. It's on the higher self. And it's really going to be pretty deeply involved with making that connection and intensifying it, and a meditation to actually meet that higher part of yourself. And Lisa, can you type that date into the chat room? Because I know you know it, and offhand I just don't remember. I just know it's sometime in August.
Well, I'm going to look into that too. I have just a real quick question for you that is kind of a personal nature, if you don't mind. It's about a desire that my husband and I have. And it's just about to purchase some property and hopefully to build a home. And my question is, we're not financially prepared to make that investment right now. However, I've been going through a lot of anxiety and excitement about it, very positive. So I thought of a way to help myself through that, which is I have a friend who's a realtor, and I'm going to visit family, and she lives in the state, and I thought how nice it would be if she could just line me up with some property to look at so I can kind of get that energy moving in that direction and also find out what property would best suit us. So I was wondering if you saw that manifesting for us.
Well, I do see it manifesting, and incidentally, I like speaking with people like you, the people who are on my webinar here this evening, and you in particular, because you really do have your feet on the ground, I can tell, and you're looking at this already in a way that's going to allow you to go through it intelligently without putting yourself ultimately in a position that would be unpleasant. Because as soon as you started to talk, my guides were going moo in my head. That was before
what does that mean?
Well, cows go moo, and cows property, and I was like, oh my God, is she buying a farm? That was before you even asked about the property. But I really, there I go again. That was the bad word. But I really don't see you and your husband in like cow country. That's not the kind of property that is going to work for you. Now, I think your husband might have that in mind. I don't think you do.
Actually, it's the other way around.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I'm not looking for a farm, but I'm looking for like 10 or 20 acres. And but I don't want to be too far away from the city because we're not spring chickens, neither one of us. And so I don't want to have to travel a long ways. And there's other reasons as well.
Well,
but
and
actually,
this is what they're telling me. First of all, they do say that right now the finances are not going to allow you to make that purchase. And so you're having your feet on the ground about that right now, and not overextending is a very good thing. They're also telling me that you're working your way through the tail end of some major financial issues that started some years ago and they still haven't peaked, Susan. They still are going to, they're going slower, but they still haven't peaked. They're not totally resolved. And until those issues, and they're not just concerning you, they're family issues. And until those issues are resolved, it's not going to be a good thing for you to make an investment that absorbs all of your finances. That's number one. Number two, you really need to rethink the whole we're going into acreage idea. There may be a way, and it probably is because of your age, and because you're on the you're not on the upside of I want to go out and milk cows every morning and I don't want to harvest fields. You're on the downside where you really want to look at the beautiful countryside and you want these lovely animals to be around you. You see?
Exactly.
And so you're really needing to look at this from a different point of view, because you may be able to find a nice tract of land that is in the middle of that kind of country where everybody else is owning it and you get to enjoy it for minimal labor.
I see. Yeah,
You see?
I see. Yeah, and
So
we're
there's
not
a
looking
lot to
at
be
it so much
relooked at here.
yeah, well, exactly, and we're not looking at it for a farm, so to speak, but we would like to maybe build another house or maybe guest houses, and maybe what I would like to do is rescue a few animals and be
Now,
able to have them on there.
that I see happening. The guest houses, or I don't, or it's going to be in a very limited way. Okay,
Okay.
but you're going to be tossing this one around. This is an idea, and you're talking about something that's still in the idea stages, and this is going to morph and then morph again and then morph again. And the answer is yes, but not the way you currently are considering that you're going to do this.
Okay. Good.
Okay, and it'll work out best that way. Okay.
Okay. Do you see me on the right path as far as spiritual?
I
growth?
do. I do.
Great.
And I see you having a lot of choices, and your biggest issue is what do I want to play with next? And that's always a good place to be.
Yes. Yes.
Susan, thank you
so
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you back. And Lisa, I think it's time to move on. And I also wanted to make another little announcement. On August 5th, and that's really just around the corner, it's just a couple of weeks away, I'm going to be doing a free introductory astrology webinar. And so anyone who's interested in the basics of astrology and is maybe thinking about taking my 7-week class in astrology this fall, that's based on my new astrology book that recently came out, Astrology, Art, and Science. At any rate, if those things interest you, you're going to want to take that August 5th webinar, and Lisa can put the time into the chat room, or you can go to my website and check it out. Register early. Again, it's going to have limited attendance. Okay, so please get on there as quickly as you can. And if you're interested in astrology, I think you're going to love it. Okay, Lisa, who is next in my on my list of people who we're going to get in for readings this evening?
Now I'm going to try to go to the chat room. If I can find who I have. Okay. Judy, who is a Scorpio, would like to know how she can improve her psychic ability.
Oh, I love that question. Well, Judy, first, let's find you in the chart up here that I have on the computer screen. Okay, the sign Scorpio is right up here on what we call the midheaven in the chart. And so first off, this is an indication that you may very well be looking at if you would have the ability to improve your psychic ability to the point where you would be able to do psychic work in a professional way, because the 10th house in astrology is professional. And so there is a strong potential for that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made that question at this time on this particular psychic hour when we have Scorpio right up there on that midheaven. Incidentally, I want to tell you that the methods that you are using to improve your psychic ability right now are not helping as much as you would hope they would. You know, oh God, that word again. You got to smack me when I use that. I'm trying to stop it. The thing is that either you are dealing with some kind of emotional or physical illness yourself, or someone close to you is. And that need to keep, we were talking about this earlier, but that need to keep that energy of unhealth, of not feeling good away from you, and to constantly push away people and things in your environment that are causing you to feel bad emotionally and physically, that is interfering with your ability to develop your psychic skills, because those psychic skills require you to be open and receptive and allowing. I love that word, allowing. The best technique to resolve this problem is going to be meditation. And I've got to tell you, all people who are beginning level psychics always say, oh, meditation, what does that have to do with psychic ability? And besides, I've tried that and I just can't hold my mind still. But there are some interesting things that happen when you learn to meditate. First, meditation True meditation is not a guided visualization as I do in my webinars. Those are guided meditations. True meditation is a meditation where you are focusing on something which is neutral, like your breath, or maybe a sound that's in the room that's giving you, maybe the sound of the electricity going through the wire, something which is totally neutral, and you focus on that to the exclusion of everything else while you calm your breathing and keep your breathing going in and out, very relaxed, deep breaths. And what happens is eventually your mind will stop trying to break free and follow 1,000 other things, and it will learn to simply focus on where you want it focused. And it's the most amazing experience, because when you reach that point, there's a higher part of you that is now set free from the shackles of your mind. Now, this whole thing has this wonderful effect. When you learn to become that single point and single focused mind, okay, that single focused person, that meditative person, you actually put up kind of a shield of protection that's natural around yourself, where the things that are going on with the other people in your environment that could affect you and cause you to be constantly thrown off balance are no longer affecting you. So meditation gives you this absolutely phenomenal point of balance. The other thing is it allows you to tap into your higher consciousness very easily, which then allows you to become more receptive and be able to start to develop your psychic abilities in a much, much more quick and viable and practical form. So my biggest suggestion for you is to learn to meditate. And I have no doubt that this is going to be the way that is going to not only return you to emotional and physical health and balance and well-being, make you feel better in every respect, allow you to deal with every aspect of your life better. It's also going to help you to develop your psychic abilities better as well. And all those things that you're presently doing that you haven't had as good a success level as you really wish, you will start to have much greater success for or with at the same time. If you were coming to my Psychic Development 1 class next weekend, you would be spending probably at least 40% of that class in meditation. That's how important meditation is. It's the very first thing I teach to my students. So I want to thank you very much for asking that question, because it was important not just for you, important for every single other person on this call. So thanks for asking it and giving me the opportunity to talk about it. Great. Lisa, who else do you have for me?
Well, if I can find Kathleen, you are unmuted.
Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you this evening?
I'm good. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a Scorpio. I was actually in Carl's first class he taught here in Atlanta.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
When you see him again, say hello. He is such a lovely guy and a
He
wonderful,
is.
wonderful teacher.
He's a sweetheart. I had my hand up earlier. Lisa was pushing at me because I had a moment of stage fright. You know how you ask a question and then you get the answer and it's like, why am I asking the question? You already know this, Kathleen, but it helps to hear it from someone else. Again, I'm a Scorpio, and always having to put up those, bubbles around me to protect me because of everybody else's stuff. But it's almost like I feel like I'm constantly back and forth and constantly fighting this battle. Is there a point where I'm going to feel like I'm on the win side of this, or is it always going to be this?
Absolutely. I want to thank you and also our previous questioner on the chat room, because, you see, I have an answer that's just for you Scorpios on the calls this evening. Actually, everyone with strong fixed sign, I'm going to track the transit of Saturn through Scorpio for you. I wrote this down because it's so very important. What I'm about to give you, folks, is going to dynamically affect you if you are a Scorpio, if you are a Taurus, an Aquarius, or a Leo. Those are the 4 fixed signs in the zodiac, or if you have strong placements in those signs, like your moon or your ascendant, and anybody can look those things up by just going to any astrology site like astrology.com, and you can look at your chart and find out where all those important things are. The thing is, that Saturn has been going through Scorpio now for the last, about a year and a half. And it's been just racing through the sign, and it's been creating this tremendous chaos with people's emotions. It's been creating dramas. It's been creating financial mishaps and struggles, tremendous opposition. And, everybody right now who has strong fixed sign placements are aware of it. We all know, even though we don't know the name of Saturn, we know that Saturn is there, okay? Well, guess what? Today, on the 20th of July, Saturn went direct. Now, that means that it is now going to be pushing with great speed towards the end of the sign. Yay! So you're going to feel a little release of pressure. Now, the pressure has been really intensifying over the last month because while Saturn was retrograde, Mars, which is this little guy who likes to create lots of energy and action, has been pushing towards Saturn. And so there's been this squeeze play going on between Saturn and Mars. Well, as soon as Saturn went direct today, there is a release of pressure because now both of these planets are moving in the same direction. So there's a little tiny release that's happened. Now, that release is short-lived. On the 27th of August, Saturn is going to finally pass, it's going to be passed by Mars. And that's when the pressure is really going to be off. So we've got like this feeling right now, but we're still dealing with those issues, but we're feeling a little better about dealing with them. On August 27th, when Mars passes Saturn, things are going to release and just feel like, oh, I can handle this now. I can deal with these things, whatever they may be. And then on December 24th of this year, 2014, Saturn's going to leave Scorpio and move into Sagittarius. So all of you fixed sign people go, because when Saturn moves out of that position, the things that you're dealing with that have so much pressure and anxiety and force and restriction and really that feeling of struggle that's been going on, those things are going to lift. Now, don't quit and don't get lazy, because this is one of those times when Saturn is going to eventually retrograde and go back for last licks into the sign Scorpio. It's going to, like I said, it'll leave Scorpio on December 24th, but it's going to go retrograde on March 14th, and when it does that on March 14th, you're going to go, oh no, something's coming, I feel it, I know it, oh no, okay? And then on March 6th, or pardon me, on June 17th, not March 6th, June 17th of 2015, it's going to re-enter Scorpio. And between June 17th and August 2nd, just that tiny little place in there, that little month and a half, it's going to have its last licks. So it's very important, this is my message, it's very important that you don't run away from the responsibilities that Saturn's giving you guys. Don't turn your back on anything that you're uncomfortable with. Don't run away or put your head under the pillow. Address every last thing. Do not leave doors open behind you that you are not comfortable with, because Saturn's going to leave the sign and you're going to feel great. But if you have left things undone behind you between now and December 15th, needs to be cleanup time. Because if you leave things behind you that are unaddressed and unresolved, they're going to come back and grab you next summer, right around this time. Okay? So you got a little bit of an astrological prediction there. I hope you were taking notes upon those dates, because those dates are very, very important. And anyone, again, who's a Taurus, a Scorpio, an Aquarian, a Leo, or who has strong fixed sign placements like the moon or the ascendant or the midheaven, keep in mind that you will have the same issues that she has. Did that resolve that question? Do you have another?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it, because actually my daughter is Taurus, and I think she's a part of the push in the household. She's a 15-year-old. So you can imagine what we're dealing with here. And funny you should say put my head under the pillow. I was thinking more putting my head in a bag of chips. Because the issue is cleaning the house and then, making healthier choices in terms of eating and activities.
Yeah.
So I think those are the issues that are big for me, and I feel it pushing at me like I have to make effort to do something.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think it's phenomenal that you have the awareness. See, I deal with people from all walks of life in my daily work and with my clients, my readings, my coaching clients, and it's amazing how many people are going through the same exact issues you are, but don't have the awareness. And without the awareness, it's very difficult to really get on top of everything and know that you're handling it in the way that you truly want it to be handled. So I applaud you that you have the awareness, that you're already making the lists and you're already saying this is going to be dealt with, this is going to be dealt with. If I can't resolve it, I am at least going to understand it. Yeah, see, not everything can be resolved. Some things have to be walked away from or released. A big part of the push with this Scorpio energy is, what do I want to keep and what do I want to release? This is big. And for some people it's money, for some people it's food, for some people it's some form of an addiction, for some people it's a lover. But there really is, you know, who in the family is a troublemaker that maybe I should change my relationship with. This Scorpio energy has been really creating crucial situations in our lives where things that we were able to brush under the carpet for many, many years, we can't brush under the carpet now. We have to deal with them. And now is our time to resolve what is going to be our way of dealing with it. Are we going to hit this one head on? Are we going to walk away from this one? Are we going to maybe really just ignore this other one until it disappears? And there's not a set way of dealing with everything. Each thing is going to have a different solution. The important thing is that you're not hiding and you're facing the things that are bothering you that need to get resolved so that you can move on with the rest of your life.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you for raising that question, because that was something I really wanted to go over this evening, because it impacts so many people. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And who is next on our list?
Right, if I can find her again. I'm going to go down here to Michelle. Michelle, you're unmuted. Are you there? Michelle?
Hello, Michelle. I don't hear her. She may have stepped away from the computer, Lisa, or she may be having trouble with her mic.
Okay.
Is there somebody else with a question, either in the chat room or on the call?
I'm saying, do we have more questions than we can answer? I just had to find out which order they came in. Here we go. All right, Beth, you are unmuted.
Oh, hi, Sandy.
Hello, Beth.
My name's Beth. I'm a Scorpio. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm grateful for a loving family who's stood by me through a lot of hard times.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. And definitely all of you Scorpios know Saturn is direct this evening, because here you all are, and you're all calling in. And that's fun because, you know, oh God, there's that New York, New Jersey thing again. I said it. But really, I very frequently get Scorpios in my classes who refuse to talk. They like to watch and not speak. And you hear tonight, so many of you are coming on the line. It's like, wow, I'm coming out of this cannon like a cannon shot. I'm ready to take action. I've been thinking about all of these things for a long time. I'm ready to do something. So what is it that you're getting ready to do, and what's your question this evening?
I guess the big question I have is one of my children is going to be starting college in about a year, has some health problems, and I want to keep this child closer rather than further away, and we're having a little bit of a resistance.
Yeah.
So we kind of gave a 2-hour time limit driving, and I want to know if that's a good thing and if that's going to work, or is there something else we should be considering?
Well, first of all, I applaud you. By the way, is this child a boy? Because I'm getting a male energy.
No, it's a girl.
Okay. Do you have 2 children? Is there a boy here?
3. I have 2 boys and a girl.
Is there a son who's either already in college or getting ready to go to college?
There's 2 older sons. One's already out of college, and one is going to be graduating soon, another year and a half.
I think I'm talking about the one who's going to be graduating soon. I feel as if you need to be splitting your attention between your daughter with the health issues, because, by the way, I see, tell her this, I see her health issues improving dramatically. I think she's going to be fine. You need to know that too. But what is so odd is that I see things coming up with your son, and it may be because so much of your attention and your concern is going to your daughter that you're just not being as observant of your son as you generally would be. Okay, because the male energy that's coming in here is definitely coming from the son who will be going to college, and so you're actually getting answers to 2 questions at the same time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think you're making a wise choice to keep your daughter within the 2-hour radius. I think that she may very well choose of her own volition within the first year or second year to return and move closer. So she may actually go and get the 2-year first part of the degree and finish up closer to home for the rest of it.
Okay.
I do think also that something is coming up for her, and this would concern a boy, and I think that she may very well be meeting somebody who is closer to home, and all of a sudden will say, hey, gee, I'd rather be where he is, okay? So there are a lot of things coming along here that are going to be really very beneficial as far as she is concerned. But the way things are starting for her doesn't look like the way it's actually going to end up. Now, as far as your son is concerned, he's actually the one that's going to be your bigger problem child. First of all, I think that he's probably going to go quite far. This is interesting because when I say the quite far, I mean in geographical distance, I mean in length of education, I mean in what he accomplishes and achieves. He's definitely a loose cannon, but not in a negative way. He's going to do his own thing, and he will be, you're going to hate this, my friend, he is going to be completely and totally uncontrollable by mom.
Yeah, we have one of those. That's actually that's the oldest one. Yeah. And he has shown that to me already. So, yeah,
you're going to have one on either end. Yep. And I do think that your daughter will always stay close to you. Now, does your daughter have an affinity for the law?
I don't really know.
Find out, because I could see her going into law or government easily. If not that, believe it or not, something in the health field. I very frequently find people who have healing abilities are attracted to things both legal as well as in the health field. So it could move either direction. But I really feel strong attractions to those kinds of areas that she would be interested in studying. But yeah, I think you've got, I'm picking up on 2 kids at the same time is what's happening here. And I do think your daughter's health is going to improve. And again, we get a boy connection when her life moves forward in a romantic sense and with somebody, her health is going to start to improve.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for sharing.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thanks for joining with
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
You know, I want to thank everybody for joining in here this evening. And, you know, I've seen the group grow over this last hour. People aren't leaving. They're hanging in here. And that just makes me feel so good that, you know, as I do each mini reading, I'm always trying to make my guides and I are trying to make everything that we're talking about pertinent to so many of you, so that even those of you who don't get a chance to actually ask your question are still going to get your question answered. And when I see so many of you still here, I know that that's exactly what's happening. I wanted to just take a moment. I saw his name on here earlier, and I want to say thank you. Where are you? I want to call on a friend of mine who has his own radio show, and I wanted to say thanks for being here. Now, where are you? Where's your name? Aha, there he is. Tony, you're here on the phone. I'm going to unmute you. Would you like to say a couple of words?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so
hi,
much for
Sandy.
dropping in.
Well, thank you. I wanted to check it out. Actually, I had already checked it out, but I've never been live. So thank you so much for, wanting to be on my show. I'm very, very happy, and I hope that we can schedule it real soon. I'm very excited.
I'm planning on
And,
it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I will be there Saturday. I
Yay!
wanted to take the class, but I don't know if my other job is going to allow me to be there. But I am very excited about having you on my show. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you're giving me the opportunity to talk. And I've enjoyed it so much so far. And you're right. Every time you give an answer to someone, it seems to resonate with so many other people that need the answer.
And Tony, I'm going to do that really mean thing, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you, Will, first of all, what's your sun sign?
I'm a Leo.
Okay.
I'm a Leo.
So in my chart up here, you're going to fall right over here. Where are you? You're in the 7th house of the chart. So you've got relationship issues of all kinds on your mind these days. And what do you have most to be grateful for in your life at this time?
Actually, I'm grateful for a lot of things in my life, not just one thing. Things are going really well for me. The only part of my life that's kind of hectic right now is I have a little nephew that's like a son to me, and he's 18 and he knows everything, and he's an expert, and I can't seem to say the right thing to him, and I'm just hoping that that he will be okay, because right now at this point I just want him to be happy and healthy, and I leave him in God's hands, because I've tried to give him some guidance and he's not listening.
Yeah. And Tony, is that was kind of formed in the shape of a commentary, but is that also a question? Would you like my comments on it?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That is a question.
Oh God, there goes that New York word again I'm working on. Kick me in the knee when I say that. But sometimes I can get pretty blunt, so I'm going to be a little bit blunt. I see a woman in his life that he has had a lot of difficulty with, that he has a lot of emotional problems and struggles with, and I see a triangle that has formed between that woman and you. I want to say it's his mother, but I'm saying woman because I can't be sure. It could be a grandmother, but I'm seeing a triangle, and so what he's done is he's kind of walking away from all of the people that he has been feeling that he has these emotional issues with. Now, the emotional issues aren't with you, but you have become a component of that because of your involvement. So, but I agree with you. He's making the wrong choices and the wrong decisions, as young people will, but he's doing this in an acting out way, which usually we see in people who are much younger than him. He's really acting in a very childish way, and yet it's kind of a phase he has to go through in order to set himself free. And right now, for a while, I see him going through some hard times. He's going to have some tension and some difficulties. But when he comes out the other end of it, and he will finally be capable of being able to be a good partner in a relationship with somebody that he'll have a great marriage with. Okay? And I think that ultimately is what he's working on, because there's been a lot of, I'm going to use the word dysfunction around him. And I don't want to say that in a way that's attacking anyone in your family, but it could be all his own issue. But there's been this dysfunctional feeling, and he's been feeling very trapped between, and he's just walking away from it all. So it's not just you he's not listening to. He's not listening to anybody.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And yes, everything that you said hits the nail right on the head. Thank you.
But he is going to be okay. So I liked when you said you're just leaving him alone. You're having the faith to do that, and you let him know that you're here if he needs you. You love him, and guess what? You're right on. That is the best thing that you could be doing for him, and it counts. It
Thank
counts
you.
a lot. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
And thanks for coming by. And yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday, and I'm also looking forward to being on your show. Okay. Okay, Lisa, who's next on our list? We have a couple of minutes more.
Okay, I'm going to go to Jennifer. You are unmuted.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you
Jennifer.
tonight?
Jennifer Grover from Fort Myers from
Oh,
Wyoming.
my. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I thought I recognized your voice, and I just said, no. Hey, everyone.
And anybody who's thinking about taking Sandy's classes, they're amazing, and she's a wonderful teacher, and you definitely should sign up as quick as you can.
Oh, thank you for the
Great.
good press. And one of these, oops, there was that bad word again. But one of these days, I'm going to be passing through your neighborhood, and I'll stop by to say hi to the horses. You still have them, yes?
I do, yes. I'm
Oh,
living
boy,
in
I love
Virginia now, in Virginia, in Blacksburg.
Wow, that's fabulous. I have a nephew who owns a horse farm in West Virginia, not too far from there.
Oh, there you go.
And I have a sister who lives in Great Falls.
That's a little farther. I have a sister up close to there as well. So
Lovely.
you probably don't remember the chart, but it's Virgo with Leo rising and Cancer moon.
Oh boy! So tonight's webinar is really applying to you very much.
It is. It is.
So let's look at the Cancer Moon part because I haven't talked about that. There's your Cancer Moon. It's dealing with the house of health that is very prominent right now in this astrology chart for this evening. And of course, there's a lot of communication, a lot of concerns about your children, which I know for you are your horses.
Right.
And so you may have some of those old guys that you're really a little bit concerned with right now. I bet you anything you have one that's like a total antique.
Actually, not at the moment. The antiques have all passed away.
Okay. Then let me ask, do you have one that's like one of the antiques that passed? I.e., has one of them reincarnated? The reason I'm asking is, Jennifer, you know some astrology. Look at this chart. This is the sixth house, which talks about the old horse. There's your kids. Okay,
Right.
so they're the horses. And this is the favorite one coming back. It's right there.
Oh,
See?
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It'd be great if she was back. I think, or poker. Yeah, there's one that might be poker. That's a possibility.
Uh-huh.
I think, though, where health is coming in is that I'm teaching massage and doing massage and have a business with that, and had built it up enough that I was able to pay the mortgage after Frank died, and I'm hanging in here by the skin of my teeth. But suddenly, the place where I'm teaching is going through terrible financial difficulties and fears. You were talking about all the fears. And it just seems to me that I've been very guided to be in this place and to do this work. And I love what I do. And suddenly it's a bit threatened. So for some reason I'm not feeling afraid of it, but I was wondering if you saw, is it going to be something new and that's why not? Or is it going to salvage itself? Or anything I need to do with it?
Jennifer, there are a lot of variables on this one, and I know that you are very tuned in, and so I'm sure you're aware of these variables. The place that you're working is going to continue to have financial difficulties because and I'm being very blunt, there are certain people who are in charge of the finances who are mishandling them. It's just not being handled properly. There are going to be opportunities for buyouts. There's going to be opportunities for people who work there to pitch in and handle this. There are going to be a lot of opportunities for change and for growth. And along the way, there are going to be opportunities for you to step out and form your own business elsewhere, or step out and be working with a group of people elsewhere, and it might even be some of the same people. Now, I know this is a hodgepodge of information. It's hard for me right now, matter of fact, impossible for me right now, to tell you which one of these options you're going to take, because we have that Leo issue where you are extremely, I think the word I want to use is loyal to the people that you work with, and so it's very possible that you could hang in there and hang in there and hang in there, in which case I see this place as being something which will limp and limp and limp and continue to have financial issues and not put money in Jennifer's pocket, okay?
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and yet these other options are all around you, but I don't know if you are going to take them because of you being the person that you are. So that is going to be up to you, because if you take one of those other options, you'll do much better, but you're going to have to break out of your own pattern to be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and you already knew that.
Well, I wasn't sure. There were there were things that made it look like it could possibly do better.
And
I certainly, it would be painful to leave and do something else.
Absolutely.
But,
and you know,
and the horses have just not been. I've felt for a long time it was time to have less, but can't give them away, can't sell them. Everything I've done, they keep coming back.
Yeah.
It's quite bizarre.
Well, it's not bizarre. As I said, I have a nephew in the horse business, and he collects horses just like you collect horses, because so many people, I mean, having horses is a wealthy person's hobby, and the economy has been tight, and one of the first things that wealthy people get rid of are their very expensive horses. And so it's easier to get them right now than it is to get rid of them.
Yes, it is.
So I commiserate. On the other hand, I also know that they bring you great joy, and I also feel there may be a business that you can develop around those horses that you have now. They're younger, they're saddle horses, I'm hearing that. There may be something you can do by way of riding lessons or something like that that isn't going to support you, but may make some money for you on the side so that you can make this whole thing work. There's another option here, and I don't see you doing it, but you're actually pretty good with finances yourself, and if you stepped in, you not to take over the burden, but to take over some of the advising, that could probably help. It feels to me that the people who are in charge of this business really don't know how to make it make money financially. There are a lot of people with great dreams, but there aren't always, those great dreamers aren't always savvy enough financially to be able to make their dreams work. And I think that's the situation you have here. It's not bad people, it's people who simply aren't savvy and need to get outside help if they're going to be able to make the dollars make sense. Okay?
Okay.
I wish you much luck, okay? And
thank you so much.
Talk to them about this little mini reading, because it might shake the tree enough that they would get that outside help and turn things around.
I think they have been talking about getting a consultant.
Yep. Yeah, you know, bottom line is you can't have more money going out than is coming in.
Right.
And they haven't mastered that one yet.
Okay.
Jennifer, thank you so much for calling in. I can't tell you.
Thank you, Sandy.
To catch up with you. And everyone else who's been on the call, I want to tell you thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I couldn't get to everyone. I always try to connect not just with as many people as I can, but to keep my answers broad enough that they're going to be able to help as many people as we possibly can who are listening. Those of you who still have questions that are burning, if you send them through to me on my website or to Lisa, me and Lisa during the next month, we'll do our best to get to them and answer them. They'll be short, you know, little one-sentence answers, but we will do our best to get to them and give you some basic answers. And those we don't get to, the next psychic hour is going to be, it's going to be on August 10th. So if you didn't get your question answered, keep it until then if you don't write it to me, and be one of the first people to get your hand up as soon as you come in, and Lisa will make sure that your question gets answered. Folks, it's been an absolute delight to speak with you. I can't wait to see you again next month. And don't forget, if you're in the Tampa area, my psychic development class is coming up this weekend, the 28th and 29th of July. If you can't attend this weekend but want to come down for level 2 is August 16th and 17th. It's just a few weeks later. And there's just so much going on. John Mayers is going to be teaching Reiki the 9th and 10th in Tampa with me. I'm not helping him teach, but he's teaching my student base so that they're going to be able to do their psychic work ever so much better. So if Reiki interests you, that is also available. Hey, I can't wait to see you again next month. You folks have a wonderful, wonderful month. Take care, everyone, and good night. Bye.